Hello everyone and welcome back to Total Bardic Combat. I'm Dave, your disembodied announcer voice, and today we are on the final match of the road to the first ever Battle of the Four Armies, where the Green Bruisers need to only to win this final match and they will have cemented their hold as the first ever holders of the Warlord belt. But if the Lords of the Ring can perform an upset, they might be able to just pull this out of their grasp, depending on who out of the Green Bruisers and the Heavy Pounders have taken out more dosh worth of their opponents. We'll have to see. It'll be a real under-Hobbit story, seeing as the Lords of the Ring haven't beaten a single opponent yet, and the Green Bruisers haven't lost a single match. So it is time to see, as we have Andre the Hill Giant, we have Cody Tracks the American Nightmare, we have Harris, then Norbert, and lastly in the bottom middle we have Kurt Anklebreaker. And on the halfling side we have El Estamago, Pinta Medea, we have Dom Sucia. In the corner we have our referee Paul Haybale, and then on the top row we have Ray Fantomatico and Pajaro de Fuego. And working against each other to start with, we have got Norbert and we have El Estamago. El Estamago gets 3 successes. Norbert gets 4 and goes first. Nothing fancy today. Norbert is just going to run up to El Estamago and try punching him repeatedly in the face. They're going to exchange blows. Norbert gets 3 successes versus 1. That's 1 damage already. That is no successes. Versus 5, which is an immediate reversal. So shove him 2 back and also deal some damage back. Not a great start for the orcs. In return, El Estamago is going to move up, and again it's going to be a grapple. He's going to try and just bury the goblin under mountains of fat, and that is going to be 1 versus 3. That's a dodge. That is 3 versus 1. That is 1 hit. That is 4 versus nothing. That's 2 hits with a critical. That's 3 damage. And lastly, that is 3 damage. That is Norbert KO'd with 1 round, with 1 action point left. The only thing El Estamago needs to do is sit on him. Defensive 2, that is 1, 2, 3, and El Estamago has pinned the goblin. In return, it's big guy on big guy action, as Andre the Hill Giant is going to use Blue Thunder, slamming straight in. That is 6 successes versus 2 for a total of 4 damage. Ouch! And it's going to shove him 5, 1, 2, 3, bouncing back off. Going to move up and just stay there. He has no more action points left to give. Coming off of that, Dom Sucia is going to move up and use La Plancha, bouncing off of El Estamago into the troll. And he is going to get only 2 successes versus 3. He bounces off. That would have been beautiful if it hit. But here we are. He has very little else he can do. He may as well go for just strikes, honestly. Copper +1. Oh no. Versus a silver and 2 coppers. That's beaten by 5. That is reversal. Again, that is a shove of 2 and 1 damage into Dom Susia, who is now very, very specifically behind enemy lines. Harris is all ready to punish him, going up onto the turnbuckle and diving. Right there. To land on him with the snot drop. It is 3 copper versus 1 silver. He hits. He does 2 damage. It's not huge, but it's also not awful. He's got 3 attacks left, and he is going to go for grapples. That is no successes versus no successes. And lastly, no successes versus 3 successes. That was not quite as effective as poor Harris probably wanted. Pajara de Fuego comes in, jumps off of Dom Susia into the back of Andre the Hill Giant with his uno, dos, golpe, eliminado for 3 silvers, getting a total of 6. Versus 6 on the defense. Oh no! He absolutely just manages to continue on with this. He's only got 2 action points left, and I think he has to turn around and try and do some damage to Harris. Leave the troll. Nothing else he can do here. Just a regular attack. 1 copper versus 1 copper, but Pajara del Fuego gets +1 for 4 versus nothing. That is 2 damage. He could knock him out here. Second attack, 3 versus 3. He misses. It's all going quite badly. Cody Trax has had enough of this. He's going to move up behind Dom Susia, and he is going to attempt to lift him. That is 2 silvers and a copper for 6 versus a defense of 2. Dom Susia has been picked up by Cody Trax, who is now going to attempt a throw. The throw is simply behind him. He has landed on the rope, and he must make at least 3 of dexterity, otherwise he is just kicked out of the ring permanently. He succeeds and is in. Cody Trax, clearly frustrated, has enough action points. He is going to try it again. 2 silvers and a copper. Oh no! 2 silvers +1. He succeeds, and he is going to dodge 1 square away, slightly further away from Kurt Anklebreaker. Still trying to bring down Andre the Hill Giant. Our good old friend Pinta Medea is going to jump off of El Estamago for a Pescador. 3 silvers on the attack. Only 2 versus nothing. That is a hit. That is a hit for a grand total of 4 damage. That is almost half the troll's health. As he goes in, he's just going to try laying into him with some grapples. It's unlikely, but at this point, it's all he has. Copper +1 because he is El Capitan for 2 versus 4. And lastly, 1 versus 2. Oh, it is so close. He is completely out of ideas now with Kurt Anklebreaker right behind him. Desperate to take him down. Kurt Anklebreaker is moving over to the edge and is bouncing off of the ropes into Dom Sucia with a running headbutt for 6 on the attack versus 2 of the defense. That is enough damage to KO Dom Sucia. And now it is time for a pin attempt. Dom Sucia gets 2. And the pin is 1, 2, 3. Oh, he kicks out at 2.5. He gets a second go. 3 successes. 1, 2, 3. Oh, he kicked. Dom Sucia is the halfling who will not be brought down. The ball is entirely in the Hobbit's court now as Ray Fantomatico runs up, just jumps off of Pajaro de Fuego, blam, straight down with a flying Hurricana. That is 6 on the offense. He gets +1 on this versus only 4. That is 3 damage, and more importantly, he is now dazed. The crowd goes absolutely nuts, which unfortunately is the only way of getting no effect. Oh no! And there's a lot of damage thrown onto this troll with a grand total of 2 more actions left. Ray's going to have to try and grapple him. That's 4 successes versus 3 silvers. That's not enough, unfortunately. Just go again. That's all he's got. All he's got. 1 success versus 2 successes. Again, not enough to really turn the tide. Lastly, Paul Haybell is going to run in just behind Ray Fantomatico. Nothing he can actually do right now, but it's setting up for a good position for round 2. The race to get initiative is a hot one this time, with Pinta Medina going up against Harris himself. Pinta Medina gets 2 silvers +2 for 4 versus 3 coppers. That is also 4. The Hobbits have the initiative, so they are going first. And he's going off strong, running up to Paja de Fuego, and he is going to use a Pescado, jumping over here and hitting both Cody Trax and Kurt Anklebreaker. That's 7 on the offense. Cody Trax gets 6 and is hit. Kurt Anklebreaker gets 2 and is hit quite dramatically with a 5 damage, with a 5 success beat for a crap load of damage. With his remaining 2 action points, the team captain is just going to attempt to grapple Kurt Anklebreaker into submission with 1 copper +2 for 2 versus 2 coppers for nothing. That is 1 damage. He's got 1 attack left for 5 versus 2. Unfortunately, not enough to bring him down, but enough for this poor orc to kind of wish he had been. Harris is going to try and get a bit of justice for his buddy Norris by attempting to pin Dom Sucia. Dom Sucia gets nothing, so it's 1, 2, and he kicks out again. 2 successes, 1, 2. Third attempt, no successes, 1, 2, 3. He is finally down, but he has taken so much from the orcs trying to stop him. Harris has 2 action points and 3 movement left. He is going to go back and he is going to attempt to strike Pajaro del Fuego. He is grappling his gird. He's going to try and just get his arms around him and choke the life out of him. 2 coppers on the offense for nothing versus 3, not enough to reverse. Second, 6 versus nothing. Oh no! That's going to be 3 damage and he's dazed. That is -1 action point and -1 movement point, as well as 2 extra damage. In the Battle of the Relative Giants, El Estamago is going to run up to the ropes, bounce off, and he is going to use Golpe del Estamago directly into Andre the Hill Giant. He needs to get a strong hit here to beat him. 5 successes versus 8. Not enough to reverse, but that's oh, he's got 1 action point left, and I think he's gonna have to try just a regular punch. It's not gonna be enough to take him down, but it is 2 successes versus 3. El Estamago does nothing, as I believe it is now going to be the Troll's turn. Andre the Hill Giant is going to turn around and he is going to ignore everyone attacking him to just punch Paja del Fuego in the back of their head, getting only 4 successes versus nothing. That is 2 damage. He is KO'd in a single hit, leaving him, the troll, enough time to attempt to pin him. That is no successes. It's looking bad. As we say, 1, 2, 3. Paja del Fuego is out of there. Oh, Andre's got 1 round left. He can do something with it. He is going to turn again, and he is just going to try punching Ray Fantomatico in the face as well. That is, again, 2 silvers and a gold versus 1 silver. It's only 1 damage, but it's all going to stack up. Undeterred, Ray Fantomatico is going to move up to go back again, and he is going to use a flying Hurricane Rana to dive over. Gold copper +1 for 4 successes versus Andre's 1. That is going to be enough. That is firstly 3 damage. That is a lot, if not enough. And that is a daze. Can we daze the giant? That's a cheer, which is absolutely nothing. Nothing will daze this terrifying fighter. He's got 2 action points left. He may as well go for some grapples, I guess. That is 2 successes versus 5, that is not enough to reverse, and 3 successes versus 6, again not enough to reverse. While this is going on, Cody Trax is going to turn to face Pintamedea, where he is going to go for a headlock. There's 2 silvers and a copper for 4 versus a copper plus 2. I think that is a headlock. That's no damage, but he has no defense against the next 3 punches. That is 1, 2, 3. Does a total of 3 damage. Not enough to take him down, but he is now severely injured. Things are getting desperate for the halflings. Pintamedea is going to jump up off Ray Fantomatico. He is going to land here for a pescador. Firstly, he gets 3 silvers and it hits everyone, including Ray Fantomatico. It's only 3. Oh no. Andre the Hill Giant gets 4, blocks it. Bullalaris gets nothing and is immediately taken out. It's 2 damage, that is enough. And then Ray Fantomatico doesn't dodge it. He takes 2 damage. Not enough to bring him down, but still, that was quite brutal. The question now is, he's looking around. Pintamedea has the downed goblin, or he could try and be the troll slayer he was meant to be. He has 3 actions left, and he is going to go. He's going to go to try and grapple down the troll. He gets 1 copper plus 2 versus 3 silvers. That is 5 versus 5. Second is 2 versus 8. That is 6 on the 6 on the reversals. Immediately stops his action. He gets hit himself for 1 damage. And his action immediately ends, which is real bad, seeing as Kurt Anklebreaker is looking very angry and standing right behind him. And it's going to be nothing fancy from Kurt Anklebreaker. He's going to move up here. He's just going to punch him in the face. 2 silvers and a copper versus 1 copper, 1 silver plus 1. He does manage to block it, but how many can he do when they start trading blows? Second up is 6 versus 1. That is Pintamedea down with 2 action points remaining. Pintamedea gets 2, 1, 2, 3. He is completely out. And from where he stands, he may as well. He's got 1 action point left. 1, 2, 3. He does nothing. He physically can't move from where he is. So that's him kind of saved by the movement mechanics. Last and definitely least, Paul Haybale is going to run around the back and try and give a pasty to his mate El Estamago, which heals him for 3. That is absolutely worth it this time. Gets him back up to 8 health. But will that be enough as we go into round 3 and the Lords of the Ring are not looking like there's many people left to fight? It certainly feels as if it's the Hobbit's last gasp as El Estamago tries to take on Kurt Anklebreaker to see who gets initiative this turn. LS Demargo gets 3, Kurt Anklebreaker gets 5, and absolutely, completely gets to go first. He is just going to move up and try and punch Ray Phantomatico. That is 6 versus nothing. That is enough to bring him down. Oh, it's so savage. That is going to try for a pin. Defense of 1. 1, 2, 3. Oh, kicks out. Try again. Defense of nothing. 1, 2, 3. Oh, kicks out again. Last attempt. Last action point here. That is 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh my god. Ray Phantomatico will not be brought down by the likes of Kurt Anklebreaker. El Estamago is still trying to bring down Andre the Hill Giant, going up to the ropes, bouncing off with a Golpe del Estamago. Oh, it's 1 of each for 5. A silver and 2 coppers. Gets nothing. That's enough. Andre the Hill Giant goes down that way so you can't see his... If you want feet pics, you need to pay a lot more than that. But this does come to an interesting point where El Estamago has 1 action point left. He's going to go in for the pin. It's a last ditch, but it could be worthwhile. Andre gets 1. El Estamago is weight 3. So 1, 2, 3. He pins the troll. The troll is down. Unfortunately, there are just that many people left now. Cody Trax is going to do what he can. Going to move up, try and pin poor Ray Phantomatico before he can recover. Ray gets nothing. 1, 2. Oh, kicks out 2.5. Try again. Nothing. 1, 2. Again. I think Ray Phantomatico has kicked out of like 10 attempts at this point. 3 on the defense. 1, 2, 3. 2.5 again. 1 last action point here. Defense of 1. 1, 2. He finally gets pinned as the only person left that can activate is Paul Haybale, who is going to stay where he is and try and give El Estamago a pasty, healing him all the way up to full health. It may not be enough, but Harris is there. He's got no health. On a cheer, he can stand back up. The crowd do not care about a goblin as we go into round 4. We are into a fascinating point here. Cody Trax and Kurt Anklebreaker have 1 stamina each, and they are facing off against a full health El Estamago. They're going to have to try and bring him down. That's all they can do. El Estamago gets 3. Cody Trax gets 5 and gets to go first for what little it is worth. He's got 1, 2, move up to here. He's going to have to try and go for a headlock first. Only gets 1 success versus a gold and a copper. El Estamago reverses. A reversal of 6 is the attack hits them instead, and his activation ends immediately. So, El Estamago has reversed this, which means that now he's headlocked Cody Trax, which means that Cody Trax has no defense against being punched in the face by El Estamago. That's no successes. Secondly, that is enough. Cody Trax is brought down. LS DeMarco is going in for the pin. Cody Trax gets nothing versus. The ref didn't even need to count for that. Cody Trax is out. LS DeMarco going to move up. One last attack. Again, he's going to go for the grapple. On offense, he is the same, so he gets 4 successes versus Kurt Anklebreaker's 2. He is down, but unfortunately, he was over there. He cannot do anything else. All they can do now is try to stand up again. Kurt Anklebreaker does manage to get 1 health back, and Harris also manages to get 1 health back. They are on the ground, but as we go into round 5, they desperately need to do something to bring down the Juggernaut. Paul Haybauer is just standing there and watching. We are so close to cooling down time as LS DeMarco just rampages throughout the lines. LS DeMarco gets 1 success and Harris gets 4. Taking the initiative, he's going to stand up for 1 action point, and all Harris can really do in this situation is try and do some arm bars. It's 2 copper versus a goldener copper, so that's not a great start. Yep, blocked. 5 attempts at this. 3 versus 4, 2. 3 versus 3. That's 3. 1 versus 5. That is enough to block him and reverse the activation. Oh dear. LS DeMarco is going to have some fun now. He's going to start by dropping on Kurt Anklebreaker to KO him again. There's no defense against this. He hits automatically. Kurt Anklebreaker is stunned. He's going to go for a pin while he's sitting on him. The defense is 2. That's 1, 2, 3. Kurt Anklebreaker is out of there. And now, yep, he's going to turn his attentions to Harris. So, gold and a copper for 4 versus nothing. He is downed again. And that is going to be 1 final pin. No successes. 1, 2. LS DeMarco completely cleans house. There is not a single orc left. The Lords of the Ring don't win this, but they have had a bit of a comeback story. Greetings, mortal. It is I, my clavicle, and I am here with the final team. Mr. Medea, you have not had a great run, but you have brought down the green bruisers. How do you feel about this? Well, Mike, I gotta be honest with you, I'm kind of glad that we did. We've had our downs for sure, but we have proven that even giants can bleed, and as long as we're here, we'll keep taking on as many giants as we can. Many thanks, Mr. Medea. And as for the viewers at home, remember that coming up we have the Battle of the 4 Armies, where the first victor of the contest of champions and the holder of the warlord's crown will be announced. Remember to subscribe so you can see it as it happens. And until then, enjoy your slumber.